Hi lovelies, welcome back to another video. So today I am actually doing something that I've never done before. I'm going to be showing you me working with my non-dominant hand and actually doing my both hands with acrylic nails in this video today. So it's going to be a little bit longer than usual. So I pushed back my cuticles and I'm going in with this Macart portable e-file and my cuticle clean drill bit, and I'm going to remove all the dead skin from off of my nails. Now I am working with my drill in forward once it is I'm doing my left hand, or even if I'm working on a client. But the minute I go in to do my right hand with my non-dominant hand, I do change my drill from forward to reverse, and I'm actually loving this drill right now, guys, because I can gauge the speed at which I'm working at. So depending on what I'm doing on the nail, I know exactly which speed my drill is supposed to be on, and I'm really loving this drill right now. And if you guys are interested, I would link it in my description box below, so you guys can definitely check it out. I am going to continue removing the dead skin from on my nail plate, and guys, I am not digging into my natural nails. I am just removing all that dead skin, and I had a lot from around the cuticle area and side walls. So while I'm doing that, I want to chat with you guys a little bit to let you know from now till the end of 2018, I am not going to be scheduling my uploads because Christmas season is approaching and I am going to be busy working, because you guys know that I do nails for a living and I won't have as much time on my hands to edit, and I didn't want you guys to suffer. So as fast as I do edit a video, I just want to post it up. However, I'm not changing my Thursdays. Thursdays are going to stay as it is. Nail art tutorials, however, are just going to be random. And I really hope that you guys understand. You're still going to be getting your videos weekly. I just can't say which day. So I did go ahead and change out my bit, and now I'm using a 180 grit sanding band, and I'm going to use this to go back around the cuticle area just to make sure that I caught every single bit of skin so that there's nothing to cause my nails to lift. And I'm also going to be removing the shine from my natural nail plates. Now I did leave this part of the video in real time so you guys can see, and I did start speeding it up now. So I am working with my drill very gently across my nail plates. I'm not going in on my natural nails, even though it may look like that because of the speed of this video, but I'm barely even touching it. And if you see me going over a certain spot, that's because when I went the first time, I didn't catch all of the shine, and any little spot of shine that remains on your natural nail is going to cause your enhancement, whether it be gel or acrylic, to lift in that area. And also on this hand, after soaking it off, I did have some little spots of acrylic still on the nail, so I was just going in really quickly and removing that as well. So I did go ahead and remove the dust, and I applied my tips to one hand, and now I'm going to go in and apply my tips to my non-dominant hand. So all I do is I did customize my tips. You guys already know that. I do cut off the well because these are full well tips and I do not like the well, but I love the tips. So I cut them off to where that well does not exist anymore, and I'm just going to place a drop of glue on the nail, and you guys saw that there was an air bubble in this one, so you do want to remove that before putting that nail on. And like that, all my tips are on. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut them and start the shaping process. So I did do my left hand, and now I'm going with my left hand and doing my right hand. I do right with my right hand, so it's a little more difficult for me to get my right hand done with the left hand. So I do start off by cutting the nails a little bit longer, hopefully, and then I just start trimming little by little until I get the actual length of my left hand. After I get my thumbs the same length, I do use my index finger as an anchor. So once my once my index finger on both hands are the same length, I do use that as a gauge to cut down the rest of the nails on my right hand. So after I'm happy with the length of the nails, I am going to go in with my nail clipper and I'm going to trim off the corners of the tips so that I get that nice coffin shape. So I'm going to redefine my shape now when I'm using my Mia Secret 100 grit Speedy Zebra file, and I'm just angling my file so that I get that nice tapered look. And I am going to do this to all the nails, and I'm also using this file to blend the tip into my natural nails. Now I prefer using my hand file, especially on my right hand for this step. I could go in with my sanding band, I just don't prefer. I have more control over the hand file basically. So I try to keep my file in one spot and I just move my finger, making sure that that file is not touching my natural nails at all, and I'm not leaving that file in one spot to cause any rings of fire. Because this video is so long, I'm going to be stopping in between and I'm going to show you guys what the actual nail looks like so far. So now my both hands are filed and prepped and ready. So I'm going to spray with my 99% alcohol, and I'm going to take a plastic manicure brush and I'm going to brush all the dust away from the cuticle area. This is also going to assist with dehydrating my natural nail plate. And when I'm finished with this step, today I wanted to try the Mia Secret primer, so that is what I'm putting to the test. So I am going in with my Mia Secret Extra Bond primer, and I'm going to apply one coat, allow it to dry, and then I'm going to apply the second coat, and I'm going to lay down a thin layer of my Mia Secret Clear Acrylic Powder. And yes, I am also using the Mia Secret liquid for my set today, so I wanted to try the full line. Usually I use my super nail primer and I do it the exact same way. I apply the first coat, allow it to dry, and then go in with the second coat and apply my acrylic. So I'm going to show you my thin layer of clear acrylic on my non-dominant hand, and then we're going to get in to the full-on not polished acrylic design. So to pick up my bead for my opposite hand, I do use my right hand to do so. So I go into the liquid, I pick up a bead, and then I put the brush into the left hand to work on the right hand. But this is what my body is so accustomed to doing, so I am just making sure to lay down that nice thin layer to prevent any staining of my natural nail plate. Also making sure to use my brush to go around the cuticle area and sidewalls, just to make sure that I don't get any product on there. So for my acrylic application today, I am trying out the Royalty Nail Supply acrylic powders, and I am trying Red Carpet, Gold Rush, and Diva Pink. So I love the packaging, I love the gold covers on this. And I love the fact that they do have the names at the bottom of the packaging. You have the royalty with the gold crown and the little gold extra decorations on the label. So I'm starting off with Gold Rush on my pinky nail, and I'm going to be covering the entire nail with this color. So this line was actually created by a fellow YouTuber, and on YouTube she's known as Nailed by Libby, and I would leave her YouTube link in the description box below, as well as her Instagram, which is Houston Diva Nails, and the link to her website. And she was kind enough to give us a 15% off coupon code, so you guys can definitely take advantage of that when you visit the website, even though I think now she has a 30% off Black Friday sale running. So I would also leave that coupon code down below, so when Black Friday is over you can definitely go ahead and use the 15% off coupon code that she has given to us. So I am working with these in nice thin layers because I do have to go in and encapsulate this glitter. So I want to say that the Gold Rush is gorgeous. I personally thought that it would have been gold. However, she did mix it with some iridescent glitter. So it's sort of like a chunky but yet still fine glitter mix. That iridescent glitter does make this mix really stunning. So now in with the red carpet, and it's a nice deep Christmas red. I'm going to be applying this on the entire middle finger. Now the reason why I didn't start off with my cuticle area is because I was thinking of doing an ombre on this nail, but then I changed my mind. So I am going to go ahead and build this color up, but keeping it nice and thin because I still want to encapsulate. Say working with this was very easy. There was no pigments coming through. It had enough time to work with it, to perfect my shape, to manipulate it without it having to dry up on me. So now I'm going to take another bead and I'm going to go in with my cuticle bead, making sure that it's a little bit wetter than the first bead I applied, passing my brush around the cuticle area just to make sure that that area is nice and flush, and pulling the excess towards the free edge. Now I did go in and dig my cuticle area, unfortunately, and I did miss a gap on this side, so I'm just going to fix my cuticle area. I do love the red carpet. Like, it's going to be one of my Christmas faves this season. So on the thumb, I decided to go in and do an ombre. So I'm starting with the red at the free edge of the extension. Place that bead right where the tip meets my natural nail plate, and I'm going to work it all the way towards the free edge. Now I'm sorry that I was out of frame while I was doing this part, but you guys already know how I do my ombres, and it's the same way, and I will have that video in the cards on the screen for those of you who want to check it out, and I will also list it in my description box below. So I'm just adding little beads of the red until I'm happy with the way that the free edge looks, and then I'm going to go in with the Diva Pink to create the ombre on this nail. Now this one was a different consistency compared to the previous two that I was working with. It did dry a little bit faster than I would have liked it to dry, and I think because I was expecting it to be more like the red, I was picking up too much of a dry bead of acrylic. So when I started to stroke it, it just was not looking how I wanted my ombre to look. So what I did in order to fix that is I went in with a bead of the red carpet to the free edge of the extension, and I pulled it back towards my cuticle area. And after doing that, I'm going to pull it back towards the free edge, and this is just going to help to create a nice smooth transition between the two colors. And then I took a little bit of the Gold Rush and I just placed it in a swoop across that nail. Now one thing I must say, if it is that you do like the Diva Pink, and I absolutely love the color of it, it is a gorgeous pink acrylic powder that can stand by itself with just some top coat. Just keep in mind that you would need to work with it a little bit wetter than the other two, because that's what I learned. I learned that you have to float this pink rather than streak it or pull it in order for it to lay properly. So I am going to go in and repeat the exact same steps so far on my opposite hand. Only thing is I did mix my fingers up because I don't like my hands to be identical. So I did the plain red on my pointer finger, index finger, as you guys are seeing me doing now. I did the ombre with the pink and the gold on my pinky finger instead of on my thumb. And then I did my middle finger on this hand with the full gold rush nail. So while I was doing this hand, it dawned on me to do an ombre with the red and the gold rush, since I love these two colors so much. So that's exactly what I did. On the thumb on this hand, I went in with the red to the cuticle area, and I faded it all the way up the nail so that the tip of the nail would have been like a transparent red. And then I went in with my cuticle bead, made sure that that red was nice and flush to my natural nails, and I pulled that bead as far to the free edge as it can possibly go to create that faded effect. So when I was happy with the way that the red laid, I went in with a gold rush and I placed that just to the tip of the extension, and I worked it back towards my cuticle area. So I am going to be coating this entire nail with that Diva Pink. Now I wanted to get a proper feel of the consistency rather than using it for an ombre, how it would apply. And once I picked up a wet enough bead, it was easy to work with. I got to play around with it. I got to move it, made sure that my shape was nice and neat, make sure that I remove any excess bulk so that that nail was not too thick. I would say after working with all three, this one is definitely about working with preference. If you prefer a drier bead of acrylic or a wetter bead of acrylic, it's just about how you prefer to work with it. I found that it worked really nicely once it is that I made sure that it was nice and wet. I was able to mold it. So I really enjoyed working with it. I went in and encapsulated all these nails off camera. You guys already know how I do that. And I'm going in with my zebra file again, my 100 grit, and I'm just going to perfect the shape. Now I'm only showing you guys how I file my non-dominant hand, and I'm just running through it really quickly. So I'm angling my file at a 45-degree angle, or angling it inwards, so that I get that nice tapered look. And then for my free edge, most times I just go up and down. So when I'm happy with the way that my shape is defined, I'm going to take my drill bit and I'm going to go over the entire nail just to debulk it a little bit. Buff, and I did apply some cuticle oil and washed my hands. I usually don't allow my clients to go wash their hands. I usually just cleanse with alcohol. But in my case, when I'm doing my own hands, most times I do the application one day and I do the design on another once it is that I have a chance. So I do have to wash my hands. What my nails look like so far, washed and ready to go, and I decided to turn this set into a Gucci set. So I'm taking my Ugly Duckling striper brush and red and green gel polish, and I'm going to be creating the Gucci stripes. After completing each stripe, I did flash cure it so that way the gel polishes didn't run into each other and just make it untidy and sloppy. So I purchased these gold nail art bees, hoping that they would have been bigger, but they weren't, because I just wanted to put one to the center of this nail, but it was not doing anything for this design, so I just applied 3. And down that red strip, I did use my gem gel, and then I went over that with my IBD Intense Seal to adhere these bees. So I went ahead and cured that. And I just repeated the exact same thing on the opposite hand. Only difference is I'm just placing one little bead to the cuticle area of my index finger, because I don't really like gems or 3D or anything like that on that nail. We are on to the final nail of this set. So I did my 3D rose on my left hand already. So now I'm going to use my non-dominant hand to do the 3D on my right hand. So I'm just going to show you guys really quickly how I do that. I do have an in-depth video if you're interested, step by step showing you guys how I create my 3D roses. And I always have it linked in my description box below, and I will also include it in the cards on the screen so you guys can check that video out. And to be honest with you guys, I love how my 3D looks when I work with my non-dominant hand more than when I do it with my right hand, because it just looks so much more realistic and rugged compared to when I do it with my right hand. It just looks so perfect and put together, and I really prefer my 3Ds to look a little more rugged and imperfect. And to create my roses, I am using one of the acrylic powders from the Tones Pastel collection, and I'm also using that red carpet from Royalty Nail Supply. Don't forget, all the links and the coupon codes will be in my description box below. You guys can definitely go ahead and check it out. And I really did enjoy working with this acrylic line. As you guys already know, I mentioned it in the video before, so definitely take advantage of that 30% of coupon code this weekend. Now that that is finished, my final step was just to apply some Swarovski crystals and some micro beads. I did put down my gem gel as usual before going in, and I went ahead and cured this, removed that little tacky layer in between, and that was it, guys. All that was left for me to do is apply my cuticle oil, and I did get some pics and a clip of the final result this time to share with you guys. And yeah, I want to say thank you if you stuck with me till the end of this extremely long video. Now, this is the longest video I have ever uploaded on YouTube. And if you enjoyed it, go ahead and leave me a handbag emoji with those comments in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And if you enjoy my videos, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And while you're there, turn your post notifications on so you don't miss a beat when I upload next. As always, I would love for you guys to keep safe, and I'll see you soon.